What's up, Profitable Stylist? Here we go this week.
We're
We
live.
have a special guest, and what a treat do we have for all of you this week. We have the lovely Jennifer McCowan, who is a board certified trichologist, and she is going to be answering all kinds of questions today. And it
Yes.
is going to be it's going to be very fun. Thank you, Jennifer, for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I hope to stay a little bit more on point than I did when we were on Facebook.
That's what. That's
I
why
get
he
so
said
excited, so I squirrel, right?
no. It was pretty good.
It
It was
was
pretty good.
fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. But now that we know each other a little better, we might just break in when the topic changes a little bit to understand a portion a little bit better before we move on. But it was way over my head. Everything that was on Facebook.
No, it was fantastic. Keep that same energy. Keep that same. Okay, here. So right on YouTube, everybody's joining us for the first time. Introduce yourself again, please, for the audience, so they can understand
There you go.
and they can understand our excitement right now. We have to
Who
catch
are
up
you?
everybody else to the excitement.
Who are you and what do you do?
So my name's Jennifer
Elevator
McCowan,
pitch.
and I am a certified trichologist and an integrative health practitioner. I have had my clinic here for 4 years up in Canada. I got into the industry. I retired as a stylist about 13 years ago after my dad was killed in a car accident 1 month after I had my son, and I suffered extraordinary hair loss. And that led me all the way down a huge road where I found a product line, an MLM company that helped grow my hair loss. And then I just kept going. I loved the science of it. And then I found Trichology. So I enrolled as a student at the World Trichology Society in Staten Island, New York. And now I'm on the board and just trying to do everything I can to tell stylists about that portion in the Milady's cosmetology handbook, standard cosmetology handbook textbook, the
Right.
2 pages on trichology, they completely skimmed. So
Even
that's
if
a
you
little bit
read
about
the
who I am. This is not my own hair. I lost lots of my hair. But what I do provide in my clinic is options. And that's what I didn't have when I lost my hair. My dermatologist said I was going to be bald. He said, brace for impact. My doctor told me there's nothing you can do. So I got really frustrated and angry, and I started a business that was a one-stop shop for anything you want that was non-surgical and non-impactful. I didn't like needles, all that jazz. So I opened up my clinic here called Hope Hair Recovery. And so we offer everything from treatments to hair pieces. We practice nutraceuticals. We use a lot of holistic health. And so we try to offer everything from A to Z for the clients at the clinic here. So I wanted to basically provide for my clients what was not available for me at the time.
That is exciting. So what let's go over that a little bit more. How many people work in that same place with you?
Well, I'm one of about 11 people in Canada that do this. I don't know what the last count was, but there's not a lot of us. There's many of us over in Europe. There's several in the States. But I'm the only one in Saskatoon, and that's my personal city. And there's 3 in my province right now. So, I mean, it's a relatively new industry, and it's a very, very needed industry. As stylists, we're hearing day in and day out, I'm losing my hair, and we've got our hands in their hair, and we don't know what to tell them. We say, go to your doctor. When right then and there's so many little tips that we can help with our
And
clients.
you're the owner. Are you the owner of your
Yeah,
location?
I'm the owner and founder of my business.
And
Absolutely.
so how many people work with you in that location?
I have 5 people now.
And do
Nice.
they each do something different? Do you all do the same thing? How does that
We
work?
have a host. There's 2 of us that do what I do. And then I offer a host of other medical aesthetics. So then we have different girls that focus on skin and body health.
Okay.
Can you? So I love that you mentioned. Everybody says, "Oh, you go see to the doctor." Can you really? Because trichology is such a needed part of the industry, but nobody knows enough about it, nor does anybody really understand truly the power behind it. In the salon, behind the chair, our only option is we can take a guess, or we can refer the client to go see dermatologist. Those are the only 2 options that anybody really knows.
Yep.
And then when you go to the dermatologist, they just say, have some minoxidil prescription and go, good luck. So can
Or
you really
here's
break
some
down what's the
PRP
difference?
or PRP, right? Needles.
Or,
That's what the terms
PRP?
know.
Yeah.
From my practice, what I've learned is dermatologists aren't overly interested in hair loss. You really got to be a special kind of dermatologist to want to treat hair loss. But what trichology is, it's the bridge between dermatology and cosmetics. And so it's a paramedical field of dermatology. And so when a client comes to see me and they have hair loss issues, it is my job to get to the bottom of the issue. And so when you walk into a general practitioner or dermatologist office, they're going to treat you with injectables, topical steroids, those sorts of things. Trichologists, we treat you with nutraceuticals. We treat you with stress management. We treat you with weight loss and those sorts of things. So we get to the root of the issue. We look at hormone imbalances. We look at mineral levels, vitamin levels. We read blood reports. So we practice more medicine. And so our ranges of acceptability are a lot more narrow than mainstream medicine. And the reason why is because, like old, say, or a Vedic functional medicine, we believe in being proactive instead of reactive. And unfortunately, North America practices a lot of reactive medicine. We wait until we're sick. So then we go to the doctor. The doctor treats our symptoms. And as a trichologist, we don't treat the symptom. We find out what's causing the symptom. We get to the root of the issue.
That is such a powerful how what you're describing right now, because
we're so cool. It's so awesome.
It's
it's awesome.
And I think so. The main symptom, I don't want to get too far ahead, but can you talk about when a symptom, when an issue truly manifests itself? Because when somebody comes in and starts complaining about my hair is shedding, they think it started shedding right now. And that's really a symptom. It's not a cause.
Can we go back? Can we go? Wait. Can we go back even more? I still don't understand what we're doing here.
I love you.
Okay. Go for it. Hit me with it, Bernard.
All right. Yeah. Go with your question. I'm too excited, Bernard. I'm nerding out big time.
Turn my little square off. I'm fine with that. And y'all have fun. But I feel like I might represent most hairstylists. Like, I don't even know why I would want or need or should be certified or understand trichology. Okay, so I think I'm starting to get a little bit of it. It's a little bit more the study of underneath the skin and where the hair starts, and not so much the hair. That's more left to the cosmetologist. But I still don't even get, like, if I had your place, for example, as a businessman, the first thing I think of is I've got to get clients. So I wouldn't even know how to advertise what you do. Like, who I'm saying, come see me. Why? Like, because what does my marketing look like? That might give me.
I'll be honest with you. That's been one of the biggest struggles of what we do, because unfortunately we help everybody.
Okay.
We literally help everybody. I have patients that are 4 years old and I have patients that are 78. Right. And so when my client, what we can help as hairdressers, why you would want. So when a client comes in, they sit in your chair and they're lost. And so I'm going to try to combine a little bit of both of your questions here.
Okay.
And they're losing their hair and they're like, I don't know what's going on. It's falling out, whatever.
Right.
First things first, what you all need to know is by the time you notice your hair falling out, 50% is already gone most times.
Right.
Wait, say that again. By the time you notice?
By the time you notice that your hair is falling out, 50% is falling out. Half of your hair is already probably gone.
Because that's when you're really freaking out.
You start freaking right out. Okay. Now, why is that happening? Your doctors and your dermatologists are going to say it's hormones. So here's some minoxidil. This is what they've been trained to give you. Okay. So here's some minoxidil, or for men, here's some finasteride or dutasteride. Those are prescription medications. But as a hairdresser or as a trichologist, I go deeper than that, because unfortunately let's start with men, because you guys are both men. Now, a lot of you are noticing that your hairlines are moving back. Okay. Right. You're not necessarily getting too thin back here. Some of you still are, but the full hairline's taking off. Why? Your doctor's going to say right away, it's male pattern hair loss. Well, I'm here to tell you right now that it's a massive digestive issue. It starts in your gut. And that's what I personally found really exciting as a hairdresser. So if all of a sudden, Eddie comes in, I'm just going to use yours as an example, Eddie, sorry.
No, I got a good example.
Yeah.
Well, we're just going to use you. I hope that's so safe with you.
No, please.
Okay.
Yeah,
so the first thing I would do is...
Let's pause for just a second. Let's pause. I think, to be fair to the doctors, they are taught or trained to do one thing, which is all on the medical side.
Yes.
I think we're just as guilty as hairdressers, because I'm just trained to put a wig on, bond a hair system, or do extensions. So
exactly.
I think you're kind of like bridging the gap between both, right?
Oh yeah, I'm going to actually double down on that.
Okay.
So I am using with my integrative health stuff too, and what you learn in Trichology is it's a little bit of functional medicine, Ayurvedic, nutritional. That's the best part. I have goosebumps right now. That's the best part about our job. We don't practice in a funnel. The whole world is our oyster. And that's why it's so cool. And that's why we can rebuild your body from the inside out. A lot of people who have autoimmune conditions, it's actually a gut related issue. 90% of autoimmune conditions can be solved with fixing the gut. And so to me, that's what I find fascinating. Your hair is a barometer of health. And if I can help you to have better hair, and not only that, because the hair, we all know when we have a good hair day, we feel better. But let's double on that and say, let's give them a whole bunch of energy, right? Let's increase their sexual wellness and all of a sudden boost their ego.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right? No, but it's all associated, right? And
right,
it's
right. It is. Yeah.
Healthy wife, right? Or healthy hubby, happy, whatever. I'm sorry. But you know what I'm saying? And then their mental health is better. When you get someone on vitamins, it's a proven fact. B vitamins, first of all, help with inflammation in the body. And they also help with stress. So as a hairdresser, wouldn't you just want to totally make your client feel better from the inside out? Help them with we're all stressed out since COVID. There's no way around it. Right. So instead of just limiting yourself to hair, now you can actually make them like really feel better physically as well and improve their whole quality of life, not just from the neck up.
So what I see in my, from my a little bit more understanding now is I feel like advertising for what I do know how to do right now. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to advertise for any of those doctor visit sort of things where people go to a dermatologist. But often people come, I am teamed up with some plastic surgeons who, if they can't help them, do send them my way. And I appreciate that. But it's usually after they've already done what doctors do, hopefully what you do, sort of try to make sure that they're right, make sure their blood works right and help them out with their health issues also. And some doctors more than others, obviously. And then she sends them to me when she can't fix all that other stuff and they're still a little thin on the hair, or they're continuing to work with them and get them more hair. I'll put hair on them a little quicker while they're in the waiting process potentially. Perfect. But I guess I could add to those consultations a lot of what you do is what I'm thinking. So when somebody comes in, I'm just looking at, can I put hair on you or not? And can you afford it? And that's all. And is it going to be extensions or is it going to be hair replacement? Maybe you can't afford one of those two. So we go with a wig, a topper, a smaller.
So why is she losing her hair? She's scared she's losing her hair. She's stressed out because she's losing her hair. And you're just going to send her out the door with a Band-Aid.
Well, I never thought it was more.
Ooh, there was a little bit of a job, eh? No, I'm just kidding.
Right, that's fine. I never thought it was my responsibility. I thought
it's not your responsibility, but as a stylist, if you want to expand your business and just kind of go that one little bit step further than the next extension specialist half a block up the road, this is how you can make yourself separate and differentiate.
Right. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing because my Band-Aids are very expensive.
Right.
So,
and you know what's going to help when you fix them from on the inside, when you provide more minerals, more vitamins, more oxygen to the area, the hair that they're going to grow is going to be able to sustain those beautiful extensions better.
And I can't.
When I was really sick, my extensions, I didn't need to remove them. I could go like this and they'd come right out of my head.
Wow. Yeah. And I can't help to think the part that you didn't mention. You probably don't do it all for free.
Oh, heavens, no. No. I'm a specialist. I worked really hard to charge what I charge.
So this service, when somebody comes in, so I'm guessing since you have other people there working with you, you guys are doing other hair services. And I guess you and your counterpart have everybody kind of running through you first to make sure their scalp's healthy, so that their hair's healthy, so they can continue to come as a client. And you start off, do you do it as I'd like to understand like your daily routine or work with a new client. Does that start off as a free service?
Nope. Well, I do have a 15-minute free discovery call.
Okay.
So like a lot of people aren't really sure what they want, or there's really, quite honestly, there's a lot of people out there that are they're perfectly healthy. They're just a little bit mineral deficient, So I charge $250 for a consultation. And so not everybody needs to pay all that. There really is your average just Joe Blow, like literally a guy who's like, I'm losing my hair. What do I do? I need 30 seconds to tell him that you need a TED treatment, some DHT blockers, or some, you know what I mean? I don't need an hour, and I feel guilt. I won't take people's money if they don't need it. Right. Women 9 times out of 10 are a lot more complicated because it's usually never one thing. We often hormones and a lot funny. I knew I was just opening as soon as I said that, I'm like,
I let it go.
You said I was like, women.
I totally said
she say something like that.
Dang it. Sorry.
It's not true.
You know why? Because we deal with a lot more than you boys. Yeah. Like, who's packing the lunches? Who's getting the kids ready for school?
Dealing with this.
That is the truth, right? Dealing with this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So women are more complicated, you said. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we're just usually, it's hormone based. We've had babies, then we go into perimenopause, then we go into menopause. Like our hormones you men got it made. You're like, pretty much. Not all the time. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, no. I enjoy being a guy. Believe you me, I enjoy being a guy.
Yeah. So
I see what my wife goes through. I got it easy.
Yeah. So it's just nice as a trichologist or as a stylist where you can partner up with a trichologist as a stylist and you can take them from here. But so my average day, we'll go back to that because I do tend to squirrel. So patient comes in, my consultations are $250 and I'm a nitty gritty nerd. So we go through a 3-page consultation form where I go through every single system in the body. This tells me all about their hormones, how their mental health is working, how their physiological health is working. I start to put together a puzzle. And this is where my sleuth detective stuff starts to happen. So then once I collect the data, I want to know about all their medication that they're on, the supplements they're on. I need to know about their stress levels. I want to know what their bowel movements are like. And I need to know what kind of diet they're on because I want to know what's going in and I want to know how it's coming out because it tells me what's happening in the middle. Wow. Okay. And so that's where I can really start to put together a picture. Then to add to that, I take those microscopic photos where I zoom in on all these hairs and I count how big they are, how many are there per centimeter squared. And then I switch the color of my light and I use a violet light. And then it shows me what's going on underneath the story of the skin. So what's the inflammation like? If there's inflammation in the skin, there's usually inflammation throughout the entire body. Some people have not properly cleansed their scalp for years. And all of the housing for the hairs are completely full of just oil and sebum and like debris. Sebum's the fancy word for oil. So dust collects, it sticks to it, right? So that tells me a whole story. Then, as you can see above that, I'm not sure if you can see the view very good, but I use what's called a polarized microscope. Now, I have a little bit more training than your average trichologist, so it's a little bit more in depth with me, but that's also why my consultations are $250. I want to pinpoint the reason why the patient is losing their hair. And so this here's Bertha. She's my bestie. Okay. She's my fancy microscope from Italy. Yeah. And so she shows me I have to extract about 10 to 15 hairs from the top of the head. So, and for you geeks out there, just so you know, as soon as the hair is extracted, a new hair is growing right away. So you don't damage it permanently or anything like that. The body's a beautiful thing, and that's a whole nother show. But I'll put your hair under that microscope.
That sounds like a bunch.
It does sound like a bunch. And when you're losing your hair,
Yeah,
it's a ton. It's so much. And that's the first thing I'll say. I'll try to make light of it. I'll say, like, I know you're in here for me to grow your hair, and now I'm going to go and pull it out. Like, I know this is very much an oxymoron, but it is going to help me get to the reason why. So I put it under my microscope, and it lights up in like a rainbow full of colors. It's super, super pretty. And all of those colors tell me things. And there, I can see the end phases, or what we call the roots of your hair, not the little white things. The little white things when you see when your hair just comes out naturally, that's your dried up root. So I want to see how many of those dried roots there are still stuck there. And then I want to see how many growing hairs there are. So this tells me a huge story. How many hairs are in growing dictates can dictate how healthy you are. The colors tell me different stories about how healthy you are, and how your stomach is putting together proteins, because your hair is one big protein. And if your stomach isn't able to put proteins together, then your hair is going to be weak. And then I can also see, this is one of the coolest things, you guys. It'll show up like a barcode, little lines along the hair. And I can tell you to the month when serious emotional trauma has happened in your life. Wow. So I can literally narrow down to the month when the hair loss started.
So when we was young,
sleep patterns too. So I can tell whether or not you're in REM, and if people aren't resting, and if they're not actually getting into REM, that's where all the tissue repair happens in a human body. And so if you're not sleeping good, you know, there's nothing to brag about when somebody says they're a night owl. That's not good. It's an illness. Right. You have to rest. And the hours between 10 and 2 are the best times to be sleeping. So have I got you yet, Bernard? Are you
no. Also, the times between 10 and 12 are the best times to watch Netflix.
Netflix is recordable, or just, you know what I mean? Like, it's there all the time. If you're in bed, like I tell my patients, because I get it, we all have busy lives, we need time to gem down. I even tell my clients, if we're on a real detox and we're having a big thing, no screens for half an hour before sleep. So when you're in the bedroom, that's either where you make love, sleep, or read a book. Done.
Read a book.
The electronics are out in the hallway or downstairs in the kitchen, but the bedroom is only for 3 things.
Interesting.
Are you coming over yet, Bernard?
I like that. I'm going to make a sign for those 3 things and put it up above the door.
Put it on the door.
Oh, but I'm going to scratch off the sleep part, because Carmelina likes to sleep 17 hours a day.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I make fun of her. She's like a cat. She loves to rest.
That can be a whole nother interesting episode on low cortisol levels called Addison's disease.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm guessing you just got a reputation in the area, and then people say you got to go see her to find out what's going on with your scalp, and then you get those consultations scheduled and figure things out. So then you're not just making money on consultations, you're figuring out what's going on, and then you're selling a product or a service.
I sell services. So I sell non-surgical hair restoration services, scalp rejuvenation services. People come in with all kinds of scalp issues like psoriasis, eczema. There's this big fancy one called antimanacea. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It's so long and twisted, but it's you know when a baby's born and they have cradle cap? Mm-hmm. If you took that cradle cap, put it all over the child's head and dried it right out, and if you pick at it, the hair comes with it. It's a severe condition. I have patients, we treat that here. And then we do supplements, and we sell scalp care, and we sell different specialty lines for regrowing hair. Because like I tell my clients, once you graduate into the wonderful world of hair loss, your life will forever be changed. And it's not that the professional products aren't good. They're awesome. And they were formulated based on people with perfect hair. When you have hair growth, you need that little bit of extra stimulation. You need that little bit of extra circulation. And you can't afford buildup on the scalp. Because once you start losing your hair, a condition called, male or female pattern, or even malabsorption, is going to make the hairs smaller and smaller and weaker. And eventually they just don't have the strength to grow through. So you're going to inadvertently lose them, and you don't have to.
That also includes when people hit that dead length where they can't grow their hair past a certain part.
So that's usually in my practice, that is very common with an iron deficiency or a B12 deficiency. You can usually, so another thing that I do at my clinic as well is I do what's called a cell well-being test. So it's an epigenetic, fancy word, I know, but it's a mineral analysis test where I take 4 hairs. I know it's evil. They come in for more hair and they leave with less. It's awful.
I love it.
But so what I do is I take these 4 hairs, I put them on a scanner, and it reads to me a good portion of their DNA. So I'm going to see, it'll tell me what their emotions are doing, what their fat synthesis is doing. So the whole body's, like every cell in your body needs lipids or fats from cholesterol. And okay, so good cholesterol, not bad cholesterol. So it tells me how the fats are doing in your body. What are your minerals like? What are your vitamins like? Have you been exposed to fungus, mold, toxins, EMF, ELF frequencies? We test for parasites, bacteria. And there's a few more things in there, but it's a 36-page report that is just a quick cleanup. And so when it comes to epigenetics, this is what it's a really fancy word. And when I tell you what it means, you're all going to use it for the rest of the day because it's another new fun one. So epi means above, right? And genetics is what we're built. So essentially it's what affects us. It's what's around us. So there's been lots of studies done with twins. And they will take, and they've done this in a petri dish, okay? So you can't argue with those results. And they'll take cells in 2 different petri dishes and they'll put them in different environments. In one petri dish, stress, poor nutrition, no cellular metabolism. It's a sort of really still environment. In the other petri dish, nutrients, moving around, healthy emotional environment. They did this with breast cancer cells for women. Every single time the negative petri dish contracted the cancer. And every time in the petri dish on the other breast cancer, never contracted it because of the surroundings and the environment. We all put ourselves into this funnel. Well, my dad had this, my mom had that, so I'm going to get this.
Right.
Nope, that's actually not the truth. You have nearly 98% control over your own genetic expression. And the thought alone, putting it into the universe, because epigenetics has a lot to do with energy, you're already sealing your fate when you say, well, I'm going to get it anyway, so why do I care? Well,
yep. And
so epigenetics is different than manifesting destiny, saying, I want a helicopter, therefore I'll have a helicopter.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is not the
you
same
want to
thing.
be healthy enough to fly that helicopter. So
So
that's how you bring epigenetics into that one. And,
it's funny. That was going to be my next question, and then you kind of went right into it. Was a little bit of genetics. Like, does genetics have anything to do with not hair loss at all? I mean, a lot of people...
for sure. Like, I mean, there's always that genetic influence, right? So this is where you would want to take proactive steps. If you know for sure the dad and grandpa on both sides. It's not a dad side thing. It's not a mom side thing. It's a genetic thing. It's coming from wherever.
Dad lost his hair, so
if you already know it's going to come down the pipe at you, prevent it, right? Like if you know there's heart disease in the family, don't go to A&W every day. Don't go to McDonald's every day, right? Like there's ways to get around what you think is going to come down the funnel. And so, being proactive about it, not waiting until the sun is shining through,
Right.
Talking to a trichologist, getting on a good, healthy diet that's meant for your body type, and then, just adjusting things such, because that every human is different, right? So we need to, every client that I have every single day, I have a lot of similar things that I use, but each thing that I use is customized to that individual because no 2 snowflakes are the same.
When client comes to you, approximately on average, how long is an appointment?
Oh, it's about an hour. I can be a chatty Cathy sometimes, but I mean, and that's the other thing That's the
Really?
I
nice
love
thing
you,
too.
man. You are awesome.
That's the nice thing too. The clients like about us over dermatologists. Dermatologists have 5 to 10 minutes. Same thing with your general practitioner.
That's true.
They're in and they're out. They're gone. And then when they come sit, like, I want to hear about your life story. I'm going to ask you, where's your stress coming from? Is it at home? Is it at work? Is it your kids? Is it that husband again?
Right.
Just, you know,
Right.
so
So you write like a prescription, get rid of the husband and children.
right? Okay. I got rid of mine, so I know that it is successful.
And look at how much better you're doing.
Oh my God. I got a prescription, honey. You have
Right?
to move out.
You're out.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, honestly, obviously, some people do need to change that in their life, but we are not going to make that decision here.
no, this is just it. But all I'm
That's where
admitting
we're
is
at.
you get right into their lives, and people
Yeah.
care when you care.
Right.
And I've been through a lot of my own stuff. Like my divorce, I mean, I joke about it, but it's the most painful time of my life. But, you know, I use the pain that I have. My dad getting killed in a car accident. I've had 4 heart surgeries.
Oh my
You know,
God.
I share everything with my clients because it makes me relatable.
Right.
I can sit here and I can do the Instagram. Fuck that. Pardon my French. But I mean, no, I mean, I'm a real woman who's lived a real life.
Right.
I want to share it with others. I truly believe that God only gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers, and that life happens for you and not to you. So it's anything that happens in your life, however you look at it, you can make a positive out of it. When my dad was killed in a car accident, I found out that the town that he died just outside of, they got water rescue equipment because he had to be exhumed, or, you know, when they take you out with the jaws of life. Half their crew volunteer staff got hypothermia. And so they got extra work equipment, and the crew got extra training so that other dads won't die. Right. So there can be a really beautiful story around your pain. And so no matter what you do behind the chair, whether you decide to be a trichologist, I'm a huge advocate of being really honest and sharing where you come from, because that helps people get close to you when you're willing to open up.
Tragedy, unfortunately, motivates people to act, but at the same time, you choose to be a victim, or you choose to be,
Right.
you know, move forward and be motivational about it. That is a beautiful moment that you just shared with us. I really appreciate that. Now people watching this, they're going to get inspired by you.
Good.
And they're going to want to learn how to be trichology, or how to what's the word? I guess, like, how do you bring trichology into your
there's
current
lots
business?
of ways. Great question. There's lots of ways. Not everybody wants to go for the full meal deal. Trichology is a 2-year in-depth program with the World Trichology Society. You do
To
it
be
at your leisure.
certified, how you're certified.
I'm full. That's where I'm certified. It's the World Trichology Society.org. That's where I go. That one's, we're now actually, we're now officially certified with the state of Florida as well. So when you go through and get your full certification, you get 2 diplomas. You'll get one from the WTS, and you'll get one from the state of Florida. So, and you buy one chapter at a time. So it's super affordable. There are a couple other educational institutions, and then there's people like me who have been in the game a little bit. And some hairdressers, you need to get your toes wet a little bit, right? Like, you're not ready. Like, someone like me sounds super fancy because I've been in the game for a little bit. But take yourselves back to when you were in hair school and you looked at somebody who'd been a 5-year stylist. You're like, oh my God, right? But now that you're a 5-year stylist, you're like, wow, have I ever learned a lot since then, right?
Right.
It's the same thing. So keep it all very humble and just remember where you're at. But I offer lots of classes. I have our class right now, how to introduce trichology into your cosmetology business, or trichology into your cosmetology business. I offer a microscope class where I just teach you how to use your microscope with clients that you're seeing today. Boom, there's a $50 service because people are fascinated with what it looks like, right?
So your classes are in person, their classes are online?
I do Zoom. I can do Zoom classes. So yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they're usually hosted privately. I will do quarterly classes too, where we just go live on Zoom, and I don't really take more than 10 clients or 10 girls or 10. I keep reverting. That's what we have here. Sorry.
It's the majority of our
10
business.
people in the class, because I really want to be able to answer everybody's questions one-on-one. And I love it when my salons book with me and you can deal with the whole salon, because when the whole team's pitching in, everybody hears something different.
Right.
And so when the class is over, you can all still like, oh, what did she say here? And I'll always send the recording. You've got that forever. Those little classes are like 200 Canadian. So that's like $2 American pretty much at this point.
$2.
So, but it's instant money making the minute you're done with me. And I promise you that by the time you're done with me, whether it's 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 days, I have 2-day classes too, you're going to be more empowered and you're going to know more than your clients. And that's where we're going to start, because they just need you to know a little bit more than them. And then they need you to have the right connections. So basically they really just need you. So that's something really important to focus on, and where you can expand your knowledge, your business, and your connections.
And are you teaching them how to pull hairs out and look? And look at them under a microscope, or the kind of scope that looks right on the person's
that
head?
one, yeah. So the one where it pulls out, I learned that through the Italian Academy of Hair Microscopy. That's a pretty in-depth course once you're done trichology school. But the 4 little hairs, anybody can do that. But I'm basically the only, well, there's like 2 of us in Canada that practice this polarized microscopy. A few in the States. The training's ultra new. So it's quite a specialty.
So to get started, you're saying you got to start somewhere, like you said.
Start somewhere.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Pulling
Just
hairs and
I got a class that's the top 6 things you need to know.
Oh, okay.
Top 3 or 6 hair issues that you see every day. So you'd be like, oh my God. Like right now, I'm going to drop one on you. Okay, first 2 things I'm going to drop. First of all, let's make this clear. Alopecia is the general term for hair loss.
Right.
It's not the spots. Okay.
Right.
Okay. It's kind of like cancer. I hate to use that as an example, but it's what type do you have? Okay. Right. So alopecia areata, how many of us have seen areas of hair missing, little circles, little spots everywhere? Okay. Yeah. That's called alopecia areata. And all you're going to do is tell your clients, one of the things that they can do, it's an autoimmune based issue that's usually stress induced, but clinical studies now are proving that it's a vitamin D deficiency, vitamin D3. Man. So you're going to tell your clients, or you're going to retail it and send them out the door with a cute little bottle of liquid vitamin D, have them put it under their tongue, D3. Because then it goes right into their bloodstream, because we can assume right away that everybody has issues with their gut. So anything we can either drink in a liquid or put under our tongue, and that's called sublingual.
Yep.
It's the best way to get it into the body. So ta-da! Now you know a little bit more than this.
Does the brand matter? Can you just get vitamin D3 at Walmart?
I don't necessarily know that this is a rule of thumb. When it comes to supplements, if you can buy your toilet paper there, no.
I love that. I love that. So this is one of my big complaints at the salon that I'm at. Every time somebody has some kind of shedding, alopecia, something, as anybody complains about something, the immediate advice is go get a tub of collagen, put 2 scoops in your cup every day, just drink collagen. Just keep drinking collagen and pee 30 times an hour and your hair is going to grow back.
Collagen is wonderful. Collagen helps provide elasticity in the skin. And so when I was telling you guys on the Facebook page, your hair, for all of you out there, your hair is like the tree of life, okay? Mm-hmm. And so I'm the arborist, and I can do a little bit with the branches, but my job is to focus on the soil and test the minerals, okay? Repeat the question, because some of us are going through perimenopause, and I just totally blanked out.
You know what? I'd rather hear the story you're getting ready to say, because I love gardening. I'm a master gardener.
Okay.
And I watch a lot of YouTube videos on gardening. And just recently, I've been watching the difference in composting naturally and composting with worms, which is called vermiculture. And they all talk about how alive the soil has to be to have good plants. And so that really did speak to me earlier. I love the analogy of the soil, which
well, I think most of us are really visual learners. Mm-hmm. So when you think of your tree of life growing, where is it going to thrive? In a desert or in a rainforest? Okay.
Right.
So we need to find hydration. We need if you're a gardener, we need nutrients, and not just A, B, and C. We need a cascade, a beautiful cascade of all kinds of nutrients in that soil. And so you kind of want to add like miracle grow to your body, if you will. And so when clients are coming in saying they're shedding, so you send them out the door with collagen, you've provided more of a rainforest type of floor for the hair to grow in. Okay. But that's lovely if you water the ground. That's really nice. The water's squishy.
And not too much, and not too much of what you're talking about can be done like plants where it goes into the soil here. Everything you're talking about, not everything, but most of it has to go through the mouth, right? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Your stomach is basically at the bottom of those roots. Okay. So we're all stressed out right now. So bing, bang, boom. We've got extra cortisol, which lots of inflammation in the body. So we need B vitamins. Okay. A plethora, like a rainbow of B vitamins, 1 till 12. Now, please keep in mind, I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. This is general information. I need to really make that disclaimer right now.
Yeah.
But for the general population, the healthy population with like no thyroid and stuff, like there's no thyroid issues, things like that, diabetes, everyone with a chronic condition needs to be safe and be conscious. So this is for a general healthy individual. But B vitamins help decrease inflammation. A lot of people are vegan and they're B12 deficient, and that creates a landslide of hair loss. Keto, that's a whole can of worms, that one. In the short term, keto is wonderful. I know people for a fact that think that there's so many ways that I can go on this one. So 2 ways, basically. I have a friend that thought keto was what made him become less bloated and gain weight or lose weight. And then the second he started eating again, he gained weight. Well, the reason why is because he's full of candida and bacteria. Okay. So there again lies their gut issue. If he would have just dealt with the gut issue, he wouldn't have really needed the keto. But then there's people who need keto for certain health ailments. And I know there's a really fancy doctor in New York that won't even look at women who are trying to get pregnant until they've been keto because it's so high in fat. But for the general human, normal human, here's some science. Yeah. Okay. So
we need everything.
We need a little bit of everything. Okay. Every single cell in your body runs on glucose. Okay, it's a sugar that powers the energy that makes the cells go. And you need carbohydrates in order to produce that. And if you don't, then the body starts going into ketosis. But that can have completely reverse effects once you stop eating keto. And it's because then that goes right back into the whole gut dysbiosis thing, or gut bacterial overgrowth, candida overgrowth in the gut. I'm totally squirreling. I'm sorry. But
so milkshake and cookies is the answer to life, to a happy life.
Hey, listen, as a girl who's had 4 heart surgeries, you still need to eat the cookies, okay? Not every day, though. That's all I'm saying.
All right. So when you're doing your analysis,
yeah.
When you're doing, like I know we keep joking about they come in with hair, they're losing hair, they come out with less hair. But don't you shed 100?
Great question.
How many do we shed? I think
right. So does it really matter if you take 5 more hairs?
The books are wrong anyway, but do we know what the current studies
are? The real average shedding is anywhere between 50 and 120 hairs a day. Okay, so when you have hair that's 18 inches long, 14 inches long, that's going to look like a golf ball daily. Okay. And then if you don't wash your hair for 2 or 3 days, you're going to have suddenly what could be like 150 to 300 hairs. And that is why people get nervous. But you have anywhere between 80,000 and 120 to 140,000 follicles on your head, depending on who you are. And at any given time on a healthy scalp, 8% is always in fallout mode or telogen phase.
Right.
Okay. That's a healthy telogen phase is having about 8% withdrawal, which means 92% of your hairs. It's actually about 87 to 88% of your hairs are actually like growing. And then you got that small 6 to 8% that's in that middle phase getting ready to go.
Right.
But you're always on the winning side, right? If you're a healthy individual. But the minute that you see your hair is thinning out, you start to see your scalp, you know, putting needles in your scalp, putting all kinds of corticosteroid creams on your head is only temporary. It's just a Band-Aid. So digging deeper, getting the blood work done, getting a hair analysis, mineral tissue analysis done, you know, digging into those vitamins. What are you low on? Do you have a parasite? Ooh, those suckers are fun, let me tell you, right? And they're going to swallow everything from you. So a lot of people out there who can't gain weight, you know, or they're really, really thirsty and if they're not diabetic and they're really, really thirsty a lot, but they can never actually quench that thirst. You know, there's so many tiny little hints that parasites love to leave behind, and they're like the robbers of all things good. So, and those are the nasty parasites. There's good bacteria, good parasites, bad bacteria, bad parasites. So it's make sure that we're maintaining balance in both and having harmony.
That's exciting. How do you, so to some of that stuff, or almost everything you're talking about, you are seeing under a microscope from those pulled hairs. And
I'm brilliant, really.
But you're not looking at blood work, but you may be recommending blood work.
No, I do look at blood work. So here in my province, we have what's called the eHealth app. And so anytime any patients go and get any type of lab work done, it shows up in their lab report. So we have access to everything. So I'll read their labs, and if there's blood work on there that I need and they haven't taken, then I send a requisition. Now, where I'm from, we trichologists can't request blood work. Only MDs can do that. So I have my own blood requisition sheet that specifically states on it, and I explain to the client, please take this to your general practitioner and say, I need this for trichological evaluation. And so that's the other fun thing about being a trichologist. I get to work with medical doctors.
Right.
There are so many times where I've picked up PCOS or polycystic ovarian syndrome on clients where it's gone right over the heads of doctors. So I work in collaboration with their gynecologists. I'll message their doctors and say, I believe that she's got PCOS, and I think I would like it if you would send her for a gynecological referral. Things work different in the States. I don't know how your system, we need referrals for everything, and it takes forever. But so I found a patient one time that had been suffering with lupus for 9 years, and not a single doctor couldn't figure out why she was so tired. And then she showed me a picture. Pardon me?
I've seen Dr. House show. It's never lupus.
No, well, but then there's in this case, it was lupus.
Yeah.
Right? And then again, though, we can go down the rabbit hole of which autoimmune diseases are actually authentic autoimmune issues, or if we just cleaned up the gut, if we could actually reverse a lot of those autoimmune conditions like rheumatoid arthritis and a lot of inflammatory issues, right? Like dis-ease in the body creates disease.
Did you mention earlier that you're on a board as well?
Well, yeah, I sit with Dr. Kingsley we're on the board for the World Trichology Society. He's the president and I'm his sidekick. I'm not exact board, but we teach together. We host a show once a week on the World Trichology Society's Facebook page.
Really?
So we're huge into education.
Okay.
We go on every week. We do a quick 15-minute little show for free. And then we also, just like you, Bernard, for the people that want to really get into the juice of it, we have like an $8 US fee that people pay monthly, and we go live every week. And then for the students that are enrolled in the World Trichology Society, once a month, we go in there, just Dr. K and I, and we take all the questions from the students one-on-one, anything they've got. And then once a month, we also present a live case. So just like you have seen doctors do rounds in the hospital. And let me get this one thing. I sound so smart, right? Guess what this kid graduated high school with?
What?
51.5. Oh my God, my parents were terrified. Okay? So like, for those of us who think you're dumb and you're never going to be able to do this, oh my God. I cried it's a long story. I never had faith in myself. So I never thought I'd pass, let alone be where I am. But when you're an adult and you find your passion and you find something you love and you continuously get feedback from it, and then you get those soul checks, there's no paycheck in the world that replaces that one. You know, that's what drives me to, that's why I'm the geek that I am. I can't stop learning. Last week, we followed up on a 6-year-old girl that I treated who was missing. She had grade 3 female pattern hair loss, or grade 5, depending on which scale you're looking at. Okay. Off the charts. Wow. She now has a full head of hair.
Oh, wow.
Whoa, right? Like, talk about sobbing. Like, can you imagine that girl going to school and how she's going to get ripped apart? So there's no feeling like that in the world. And that's something we get to do every day. So she's feeling better. She's got more energy. And it turns out she was just a little bit mineral deficient. She lived on a farm. She was exposed to lots of chemicals. And so she's a gritty little girl, such a cutie pie, always in the dirt. So hands are in the mouth, bacteria, parasites, ridding the body of minerals, right? So we tweaked her protocol and put her on a proper children's protocol. And now her parents are just over the moon, right? So
I like what you said about the paychecks and the soul checks. That's interesting, because when I first did hair replacement, men aren't as open to their feelings. So I was putting hair on bolder thinning men, and they loved it, but they didn't really share their feelings quite as much. And then a couple of ladies heard that I did that. I'm like, can you put hair on me? And I thought, this was in the early days. This was like 30 years ago. So I thought, head's ahead. I guess I can. I don't know. I just need longer hair maybe. And so I did. I put hair on a lady's head. She starts crying. She's hugging me. And I as much as I like money, I was like, oh, wow, this does feel better than the paycheck.
And I know that firsthand, because when I was losing my hair, I had a 2.5-year-old boy, or 2.5-year-old daughter, and a 6-month-old boy. And I was having suicidal thoughts. I was so depressed. I had post-traumatic stress disorder because my dad was just killed. My mom fell apart after my mom died. Her mental health went to pot. And, you know, as a new mom, you're in stress. I like to call it the emotional hangover. You have had so much stress one day that the next day comes and it's like you can't chew food and swallow it, or you'll gag. Your gag reflex kicks in instantly. And so, you know I took down all the mirrors in my house. I refused to look at my reflection. And so it affects, it's a mental health thing now, right? Like it's a life thing. I can't tell you, honestly, I've lost count at how many people I know have sat in my chair, have been in within days. You're my last hope, Jen. Right? Bring it. I got you. I love it.
Right.
Because I've been there, right? Again, with sharing your stories. But yeah,
crazy.
Hair.
It's crazy.
I have men that have cried. As soon as the door closes, I have men that cry.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to go bald. And then they think that they just have to accept it. Because grandpa and blah, blah, blah.
What we do are the beauty profession in general, the beauty industry, the cosmetology profession, the trichology profession. What we do with individuals, I mean, it's something that I teach in classes all the time. We literally hold people's self-confidence in the hands, in our hands.
Yeah.
You know, and depending on how we treat them, that's why I'm always talking about the experience. If you do it correctly, it's a beautiful experience. If you destroy that experience, you completely destroy that person. Forget about physically, how did they look? They just don't feel good about themselves no more. That level of respect, we goof off, we joke, we make light of things, sure, but it's only because we hold that value in, high respect, that it's when the person leaves, they're going to be feeling really, really good about themselves. They're not just looking good, they're going to feel good about themselves.
Right. And I mean, so that just improves quality of life. Other than a doctor, who can do that? Right. Like, and that's what it's about. We're only here for a short time. Yeah. So the best you can look, and here's some ugly facts. 40% of women going through chemotherapy or 40% of women who are offered chemotherapy will deny it because they're afraid they're going to lose their hair. So they will actually choose death over their hair.
Isn't that crazy?
It's just like holy moly, right? And so you know, what you guys do is amazing, right? You're giving them their ability to go into the world again. You know, their ability to not lose themselves. That's the biggest thing that happens with people who lose their hair. They lose themselves because your hair is your identity, right? I'm a super spicy girl, right? That's why I don't have brown, just flats, you know. I like to jazz it up, you know, and I encourage my clients to do that, whether we put them in a wig or whether we treat whatever hair they've got left. Let's make your, and I said that as a stylist too. You know, your hair should always reflect who you are and how you feel and where you're at this stage in your journey, you know, and that's what makes pictures so fun when you go through it. You know, you can remember exactly that perm happened when, you know, and all
So
of the
when I realized how important hair was for people, you know, with my upbringing about what responsibilities are, what's most important first, my values didn't match up with a particular customer one time. She comes in, and over the years, sporadically, I'd done her hair extensions. So I already knew her head, her hair size, shape. I just said, send me a picture. And she said, I need hair extensions. Can I come in a couple of days, whatever? So I said, yes, I got the hair. And I knew how much it was going to be, $1,200. And I knew how much hair to order. So I had her. I didn't need to do a consultation, right? Because we had a history. She comes in, and in the first few minutes, she says, and this is so hard for me to understand, but at the time, she says, so I was talking to mom. I called my mom and I said, Mom, I'm going to get hair extensions tomorrow, but I'm 3 months behind on my house note. What should I do? Should I pay the house note or go to Bernard and get hair extensions? And I'm thinking, pay the house note, cancel the appointment right now. What are you doing? And the story keeps going before I get to talk. That's just my thoughts, you know. And she says, my mom said, well, it says her name. Well, I'll just say Susie. Well, Susie, I know what you've been going through. And if getting hair extensions is going to keep you from killing yourself, you should go get the extensions. And I thought, is hair that powerful? Oh my God. I might have just saved somebody's life by putting hair on their head. I would have never even thought, I'm thinking pay the house note, because that's what would make me kill myself if I was way behind on all my bills, I couldn't provide for my family and I was going bankrupt. But for her, she needed to feel something different to feel like she should stay alive. And
when you can't pay your house note, like, I mean, I've been there, right? When you can't pay your house note, you feel like a beat individual.
Yeah.
And when you can't even look at yourself in the mirror and life just gets you down, and I don't know what it's like in the US, but everything in Canada has gone like this. And like, a lot of people are not able to feed their kids right now and things like that. So if you can't pay your house note and then you can't even look at yourself in the mirror, ooh, that's a dirty, dirty prescription.
Right. And so I can't say which one I think is more important. Only she can.
Her mom would never let her go homeless. She sounds like a good mama.
Right.
She might have helped her with the rent.
Homeless, but she needs to feel better before she can make that.
How are you supposed to get somewhere if you don't like the way you look in the mirror?
And it's just stepping, right? It's steps.
Yeah.
Look, when you're in the airplane, they say when the oxygen mask, it drops, put the mask in yourself first before you put it on the kid, right? You have to, in a dire scenario or situation, everything is crashing and burning around you, but you have to be strong yourself first before you can help somebody else.
I use that analogy, and I've had a lot of self-esteem issues, right? My whole life. I even tattooed the word CEO to my arm to try to remind myself that I am one, because I feel like I got to be everybody's friend and I want to make everybody happy and I don't want everybody to be mad at me. And it's like, Jesus, woman, get your act together. So, you know, see, there goes the hormones again. What was the question?
Well, I can tell you what we're supposed to be doing now. You must be more entertaining than most of our guests, even Eddie, because I'm usually ending this thing before 11 o'clock our time. And it's 11:05. I do have other responsibilities to get to.
Right, I didn't realize that.
So we would love to have you back, because I think we could dive down some of those rabbit holes, but we do have to wrap this up. But if people are interested and want to take any of these classes, Eddie, can we put some of this stuff in the description?
We're gonna put it in the description, Jennifer. How somebody contacts you?
The
Like
best way
now
to
they're inspired,
contact
they watch
me,
this. How they contact you?
there's two ways. My email is info, I-N-F-O, at Hope Hair Recovery. It's info at hopehairrecovery.com. Or you can look me up on my website at www.hopehairrecovery.com. You can leave us an email. We're going to be posting this year's classes here shortly. We go live on Zoom. I've got a whole host of stuff. And then if you just want to dive right on in, for the World Trichology Society and get your full certification, go to the worldtrichology.society.org and sign up there.
Awesome. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
guys
for joining
so
us this
much.
week. I can't wait to get you back on. Bernard, you want to do the begging? No?
Like, subscribe, comment. Please.
Like, subscribe, share, tell all your friends.
Share.
Right?
Yeah.
Have a wine and cheese night and watch the show.
Thank you all for watching. Drop us a comment. Let us know what you guys think. If you have any questions, look up Jennifer. We'll catch you all next week.
Thanks for having me. Bye for now.